Assalamu alaikum. We are well and truly live. Um, for the first second of that, you saw what my laptop was seeing, which was quite simply, just a lead. So sorry about that. I don't know why that happened. Seems you have a bug. So we're live again. I very lazily, unscheduled, impromptu, without prompt, impromptu, um, decided to go live. So you might actually be thinking, like, what on earth is happening with Freshly Grounded these days? Unfortunately, TBC. TBC. But in the meantime, I'm going live. Now, actually, what you guys may not notice is that this set is different to the set in the last video. Let's see, should I turn the volume up a little? Last time it was peaking a bit. It's different. Now, you might say, some of you might be rushing to your computer screens to check the last set and might be confused because it looks exactly the same. And that's because I spent last weekend completely swapping rooms. As you can see, the big table isn't behind me anymore, which sadly means we're not really going to be ever doing any more in-person episodes. Not ever, but definitely not yet. Not right now. It's not going to be happening. In person is out the window. Now, it's not all doom and gloom because some of my favorite podcasts in the world that have millions of subscribers are solely virtual. It's not to say that we are going to be solely virtual, but right now that is going to be the case. Perhaps when we move into a studio like we had in London, then we'll be back in action. So the history of Freshly Grounded is that we've always been in a studio in London, and then we've moved studio like 4 or 5 times. We were in like Ladbroke Grove area, then we moved to another studio. Oh gosh, look at that. That's happens when it's live. The operation and safety of the battery cannot be whatever it said. That's because I've got a plug in the wall battery. I should maybe. I remember last time I said I won't do the live streams at such a late hour. Well, that didn't change because it's 9:38 post meridian over here. What was I? Where was I getting at? Where was I going? Yes. So we basically had numerous live. We were always in studio, in the UK in LDN, and then we moved out to Dubai, and then I moved a studio into my house. I actually very specifically got the house that I got because it was large enough to have an entire studio inside it, and a large studio it was, might I add. However, as you guys know, because you've ridden with me for the last 8 years, through triumph and defeat, through failures and successes, through moving country. In fact, the time when I first ever launched Freshly Grounded, I was merely a man. I had 0 children, and I was freshly married. No, I wasn't. Yeah, I in fact my wedding hadn't actually happened yet. It was 1 month pre-wedding that we launched Freshly Grounded, and now you see me, a man with 3 children, and moved country numerous times. What is the point I'm getting at? And this is why I suppose live streams are bad for so many reasons, because you can just ramble. The point I'm getting at is, always been in a studio, moved to Dubai, got a big house with the intention of having a full-on studio in there. A full-on studio in there we had. I was able to do all things in that studio that we were always able to do. We actually had numerous sets in the studio. We've got this fake wall. This is not a real wall. It's a custom-built wall on wheels. It's a wow. A wall on wheels. We got a wow in the building. It's still on wheels. I could roll it right now to prove my point. And prove my point I shall, because I feel like you guys are questioning it right now. So if you're watching this, have a look at this. I'm not going to roll it anymore because my cupboard's behind it. I custom built a wheel on walls, and that's how we got numerous sets. However, in recent months, I have indeed welcomed into the world my third child. Um, my wife and I have welcomed our third child, Laith, into the world, and and it was just starting to get a bit impractical. Um, the biggest room in the house basically being the studio, and so to fit a cot and a rocker and our own stuff, it was time to move on from that. And so I spent the weekend switching rooms, was the point, and everything has been able to remain the same, except from there's just no space for that big table. So the table we gave away today, somebody came to collect it. Thank you. Shabana says that is an impressive wall. It is. I'm very proud of it, actually. And yeah, so the table had to go. Somebody came to collect it today. We gave it away for free. Did we try selling it? Yeah, we did. I'll be honest. There was no interest in the paid in the paid version of the Fresh Ghana table. Little did they know how much history, might I add, was involved in that table. That table has hosted Mufti Menk. It's hosted Gaz Khan. It has hosted the owner of Philly Calf, and many other greats. But as all things, a microcosm. You could say this is a microcosm for how we will end up in life. No matter how much value you have, eventually you're just given away for free, in broken pieces. You're in the ground, and you move on to the next life. That table is now potentially a dining table for a random family with maybe even a dog. There might be a dog who just sits on that table. How sad, actually. I've become um I've become sad at the thought of that. That's that's the case. So I've lost myself again in conversation. I should tell Instagram that we're live. I will carry on this extremely lengthy story about the studio switch in a second, but let's as always. Oh, there's a freshly grounded clip has been posted on Instagram on Instagram. Okay, let's tell the world that we're live. Might as well. No harm at this point. Thank you to the 10 of you who are watching pre-announcement. I always have trouble. Okay, here we go. We're gonna go with the classic take picture of screen. We are live on YouTube. Is the caption. Very simple, very straightforward, very direct. We're gonna link the stream. We're gonna just make sure it's the right link. And we're gonna well and truly call it a day. There we are. Watch live. Done. Shared. I'm back with you. Okay, so where were we at with this ghastly story? So I gave the table away. We're now in the smaller room. Everything's fine. It's actually nice and cozy, but it is really a one-man studio. We're dealing with one-man studio situation here. An OMSS. One-man studio situation. And so eventually, inshallah, once we figure out FG, we probably will. Because, by the way, come hell or high water, which is a saying that I don't even know what it means. So hopefully it's not blasphemous. We will, Fresh and Grounded will live on for, I was gonna say for centuries, but at least while I'm alive, inshallah. I'll drag this thing by its feet. And so we will get a studio eventually, inshallah. A few shifts have to happen uh, for us to get back at that stage. But right now, it's one man studio. We're going to do virtual episodes. We're going to do these live streams. We're going to keep active because the community is well and truly kicking. And so yeah, so I did live stream last week, and then a few people were like, "Hey, do another live stream." Actually, no, nobody said, "Hey, do another live stream," but they said, "Hey, do the live the solo episodes," which is all I'm giving you right now. Which is all I've got. It's the only thing in my tank, and it's the only space I have. Because guess what? Your boy's not getting rid of that rocking chair. That rocking chair is here to stay. Because guess what? It even reclines. And it's a big chair. It takes up the majority of the room. You can see a third of the room is taken up by a rocking chair. But the rocking chair is remaining. Non-negotiable, guys. This is your studio as much as it is mine. But the rocking chair is staying. We can begin negotiations بعد ذلك. Okay? The rocking chair is staying. Where we at? Okay, so fine, yeah. So last week when we did the episode, there was kind of a topic, which was emotional intelligence. We kind of discussed it a little bit. So I thought, let's have another topic. We can go off topic. We might have some people jumping on the stream. I said that last time and it never happened because the only practical way of doing that is if somebody actually knows me. And if you're watching this and you know me and you want to jump on the stream, drop me a message and I'll tell you how. Eventually we'll try and figure out a way to get the community involved, but it's live. We're live. I've done enough Iman channel live shows to know that when you go live and you just open up the floor for people to call in, you get some callers. And they're not always kind. Okay, so what's the topic? Assalamu alaikum. Do you think? Oh, I need to make these things a little bit bigger. How do you do that? No, not like that. There we go. Adil says, "Assalamu alaikum." Try to move the comments in the middle. I feel like you guys deserve. Oh, sorry, it's gone. I feel like you guys deserve the middle spot. And maybe down, middle and down. Middle and down? Yeah. Let me know what you guys think of that. We can customize it. Adil says, do you think that... he says, Assalamu alaikum akhi. Wa alaikum assalam. Do you think that Tartil and Qur'anly might collaborate in the future? You never know. It's all love and it's amazing. It's amazing the work that Qur'anly is doing and the audience that it's having an impact on. And Isa and I, so Isa is the founder of Qur'anly, are really great friends. And actually we'll be together in a few weeks' time as well, inshallah. So, okay, topic. So last week it was emotional intelligence, right? And this week I thought, let's dig into something I've been looking into. You might have a sneak peek. You might have had a sneak peek of it if you're subscribed to the Freshly Grounded newsletter at tribe.freshlygrounded.com. If you're not subscribed to tribe.freshlygrounded.com, you really are missing out on some great email newsletters written by yours truly. I send each and every email newsletter out by hand myself, by keyboard myself. They're not written by, like, a freshly grounded copywriter. They're written by me. Anyway, this week's newsletter, it was about solopreneurship. Should we open it up? Should we live open it up? Why on earth not? How do we... Let's do that. I can't, however, share... I mean, share my screen I can. I don't know why it is that when I go live, all of a sudden I start speaking in different rhythms. Okay. View published post. How do I do this though? Because how do I do this? Because if I want to share my screen, it's going to share the whole screen. It's going to share the whole thing. Is that what we want? That might be what you want. It's not what I want. Should we give it a go? Should we just share screen and see what it shares? Oh, it's saying it needs permission to do so. Now I'm live trying to give it permission. Okay, I'm not gonna go. I don't know if you guys can see my screen, but okay, I can't do it because it's saying that I have to restart the software. Although I feel like you guys could have seen it. Am I still live? Yeah, I'm still here. Okay. All right, it's fine. We'll just. Oh, I can just screenshot it. I'll just screenshot it and throw it on the screen. Yes, Ahmad, we're streaming at 9:50 p.m. It's weird. Oh, you just saw that I disappeared. Okay. I'm just gonna screenshot this in 3 different pieces or 2 different pieces. I think we can get the newsletter in. Okay, let's do that and just throw it on the screen. We can read live. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Can we just? There we go, ladies and gents. Okay. Don't say I'm not a technical genius. Okay, here we go. So this was the email. This is the beginning of it. I'm gonna read it from the start. Assalamu alaikum, which is a greeting. Nothing more to it. Then I said Faisal here, which I always say at the beginning of my emails because I do want you guys to know that is me. It is me. And then I always hit you with a one-liner. A witty one-liner. I really try with I hope somebody appreciates my one-liners because I do really try with these one-liners. Every time, every newsletter, you get a new one-liner. Go to tribe.freshlygrounded.com. Read through the different emails. You'll see a different one-liner every time. So it always starts with welcome to the Freshly Grounded newsletter, and then I hit you. Sometimes it relates to the article. Sometimes it just I try and turn on the funny. And so this edition, it said, welcome to the Freshly Grounded newsletter. The only email that makes your inbox feel like it's wearing a tailored suit. Absolute classic. Genius line, might I add. And then I give you the here's what we got for you today. Here's what we had for you today. This week's newsletter was getting the Sahaba mindset when it comes to work, which is what we're going to talk about. Learn no-code automations to connect with your personal brand, which is a plug for my school community, of course. If you haven't checked it out, go to school.fazelchowdhury.com. That's skoll.fazelchowdhury.com. Basically teach you, if you're not a techie, how to build automations that you can either use for yourself, for your business or your personal brand, or you can actually build an automation agency and start getting clients. Charge them $2,000 a month for automations that basically run. You never have to do anything once you set it up. And guess what? It's just $9 a month, £7 to join my school. Anyway, we're going off on a tangent. And then I'll give you the latest episode of Instagram. Okay, fine. So what were we talking about in the newsletter? So I said, here's what I was thinking about. I had a thought process some time back. I thought to myself, well, we always talk about freedom when it comes to our work and how we want freedom so that we can worship Allah more, yeah. But then I was like, I mean, we all know that the Sahaba and the pious predecessors in general, they had a way more focused. They were way more focused on the akhirah and really trying to just work for the next life than we are. You might be saying speak for yourself, Faisal, and I'm generalizing all of us, but just walk with me here. So then I was thinking, well, if they were like that, but they still had to earn money and feed their families and stuff like that, what was the kind of nature in which they would work? Not what were they doing, but was zoom out, what were the, not even the principles, but what were the I don't know what the word is, right? What was that? And so then I started thinking about it, and then it reminded me. I started thinking back about the famous Joe Rogan Naval episode where he kind of, I've mentioned it so many times on this podcast, where he basically said, you know, we were people who were, tribes. We were in tribes, and back in the day, as humans, we would, serve our families, and we would go out, hunt meat, um, as tribes or in small communities. We'd all have individual skills. Somebody would be great at the hunting, somebody would be great at like mapping it out or whatever. And then we would hunt the meat, and then we would go back with our meat to our families, feed our families until the next time. And then he said that then came the Industrial Revolution and factories, and then that's where the 9 to 5 was born. And his prediction, and it's playing out, was that, in the future we're going to go back to the kind of just being independent people, going to collect our, money, and then coming back, and then when we next want to collect, kind of like a contract, right? But I wanted to dig deeper into that, because that is kind of like the life of the Sahaba, right? Like they didn't do 9 to 5, and even like, if you're lucky enough, and obviously lucky is not, for lack of a better term, to work in a company, like Turtil and like many remote companies where you're not in a 9 to 5 specifically, and you can adapt to this life, then great. But for the most part, it falls into a term that I didn't coin at all, but a term that we'd call solopreneurship, right? Yeah, and so unless you're in an anomaly, which is where you work in a company fully remote, um, you're not bound by time, unlimited time off, and so you basically are a solopreneur. But I think for the most part, like a lot for most people, that's difficult to work in a company like that, and for the most part, you do have a hierarchy and stuff like that. And so I started delving into this thought of, were the Sahaba solopreneurs, and I mean it in the most respectful way, and I hope that in no way am I belittling the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, who are the greatest of examples, and who we would do anything to be like. The point I was making was I want to be as close to that, and so how do they work? That was my point. So anyway, there's three things. There's loads of things that I was looking at, but there's three things that I mentioned in the newsletter, because newsletter is bite size, right? The idea of the newsletter is just something that you can quickly read and just maybe might trigger a thought. And so this is what I said. I said, when we think about the Sahaba, we often picture warriors and scholars, but their mentality is something we can use even in the work life. Here's 3 ways to use the Sahaba mentality when it comes to work. And then I said the 3 points I gave was independence, specialization, and freedom. So independence, I kind of give the example of Abdurrahman ibn Auf. He arrives to Medina, makes hijrah. He's got no money, he's got no resources. And the first thing he says is, show me where the market is. That shows so much independence. And again, relate that back to our lives. Like, we have to take responsibility, right, for our income, quite simply put. The second point was the power of specialization. What I realized is that each Sahabi had their specialization, and we often like talk about this in terms of, when we're chatting amongst the bros, about this from a personality perspective. How amazing is it that Uthman was known as the shy one, and Abu Bakr was known as the truthful and the one who's so generous, and Umar was known as the the strong, and so on and so forth, as they say. We talk about it from a personality perspective, as we should, but actually, even from a skill perspective, it's true. Some were farmers, some were tradesmen, some were what is the word, like Khalid bin Walid, like strategizers, or like army leaders, and so we often think about it from personality perspective, but we don't think about it from a skill perspective. But yet they were skilled in their specialized. They had specialist skills. There's some that were in real estate, some were trading on the ground, and stuff like that. So the lesson I kind of wanted to take from that was be known for your individual skill. Celebrate those skills, but focus on that skill that makes you unique and monetize that skill. If we're going into the world of solopreneurship, which it seems like we are. And so it's okay if Silverback AJ is the guy who focuses on gym and strengthening your physical body, and he doesn't need to then also focus on how to do no code automations, right, or whatever. And in fact, that's the beauty of it. And so we get our strength knowledge, building muscle and stuff, from him, or from Gaff, or from Simon Says Squat, and all these great fitness influencers. But then maybe we get our knowledge of, nobody else is coming to mind. Our knowledge of, like, Quran memorization skills from people like Hifz Status and Sheikh Musa Abu Zaghli and stuff like that. But even if we talk about, like, from a work perspective, because I'm conscious that if I give Islamic examples, then it's like that's more like education. So Ajmal would be great, yeah, from like the strength thing, and then maybe we get our gosh, I really can't think. Help me out here, guys, in the comments. But you get the point. Focus on specialization. It's okay if you can't do everything. What is your specialization? What's my specialization? I don't know. Perhaps it's podcasting, because I've been doing it for 8 years and I keep running away from the idea that that's what it is. Who knows? The third point then that I had, don't worry, it's coming. There it is. Is well and truly freedom. Or as I've coined it, the ultimate flex. The Sahaba understood something crucial. True wealth isn't just about money. In fact, it's not about money. They structured their work around their priorities, not the other way around. If it's prayer time, business got paused. If dawah was needed, they stepped in. And the point there is really that true wealth is about aligning. It's like they would, the priority was living for the akhirah. And I kind of said, like, living life on your terms with the permission of Allah. Obviously, we live life on Allah's terms, and we're happy with the what is written. But there's a sense of, like, taking ownership. I think that's what I found. There was a sense of taking ownership and independence and strength and resilience in the Sahaba, which I was really inspired by when I was looking at all of this. Anyway, later on in the newsletter, of course, I then promote the school page, which is we're actually building some really incredible stuff. So I'm somebody who's not a developer. I'm not a techie, but I work in the world of tech, and I'm constantly using tools, and I'm amazed by the wealth of tools that are available in digital space for people like you and I, who might not be that technical when it comes to development. And I've been able to build some great automations that help me in my own work. They've helped me build my personal brand, help me build Freshly Grounded, but also help me on the side help build automations for clients. And so I thought, why not leverage that to elevate the brothers and sisters, elevate the ummah, and teach those automations. So really, it really is easy. There's a few different softwares that you kind of get to learn by joining the school page. And like I said, you can either use it for your own work, if you're in work, or if you're building your personal brand, or even if you want to have an agency. I've just been refuted by Dr. Fawzi Katranji live on Instagram. He said, he DM'd me. That was kind of him. He said, regarding EQ, there have been a lot of studies to debunk your statement that it predicts success. There we go. So I am wrong. but I'm not going to delete. Um, I'm not going to delete the post, but I appreciate that. I said really, and then I said, well, then I didn't say anything. Okay, where are we at? You kind of forget you're live. Um, yeah. So you can use it to build your own to do your own work, or to build your personal brand, or to actually like sell automations. So a really classic example is just on your high street alone. You probably have a lot of independent coffee shops, independent cafes, independent barbershops, and just building out automations for them. Like, you know, one of the challenges, I've gone so off topic, off tangent. We are going to bring it back on tangent because I have a video I want to show you guys. But you know, metaphorically, work with me here. I was going to say something else, but I won't. I was just going to say, I'll say it. I was just going to say metaphorically, dance with me, but that's not a good. That's not a good example. So, okay, you have coffee. You have independent coffee shops, barber shops, and stuff like that on your high street. All right, you don't have to go big with this, by the way. Um, And one of the biggest challenges for something like a coffee shop or cafe or restaurant is in all other businesses, it's very easy for you to track your customer or to communicate with your customer. Let's say, for example, in a barber shop, somebody books an appointment, they do it digitally, and therefore you got their name and you got their email address. And you can contact them again and be like, hey, here's a free haircut or whatever. And even in the barber space, I don't think people are utilizing it that much. But you could, if people are you got their head screwed on, that they would, right? But in the digital space, you got, all systems go. If you're a viewer of Freshly Grounded and then you subscribe to tribe.freshlygrounded.com, our email address, then we have your details. We can email you when we've got a new version of the game. Oh, by the way, the game Ramadan's coming up. We still got copies of the Ramadan version of the game. Shop.freshlygrounded.com. Why not? Grab yourself a game. Back to the topic. Back to the second topic. Okay, yeah. So the problem with restaurants and cafes is that they don't own their customer. You could walk in to a cafe, buy something, and then walk out, and the restaurant owner could never chat to you again. They can't find you again. There's no way of them contacting you. Yet that customer who just walked in and bought something, they're so much more likely to come back. They're much more high propensity to purchase because they've already purchased from you. So they're aware of you. If we think back to the funnel, awareness, interest, desire, action, they're already aware of you. They're interested in you because they bought something from you. They desired your product because they actually bought something for you, and they actually took action. They've gone all the way down the funnel. To lose that person, it's way easier to resell to someone who already knows about you and purchased from you than to find new customers. So that person's like gold. But however, you can never find them again because you're a restaurant and they've just walked in, they've eaten, and they've walked out. But imagine if you could capture that individual and you could find out a bit of information about that individual, and then you can like message that individual and say, hey, by the way, we got 2 for Tuesdays. Come in, you get buy one get one free. They already know the product, they love the product because they bought the product. So there's a much higher chance that they will actually take you up on that offer. Okay, so how do you fix that with this thing? Well, you could, for example, build an automation where, so you go to this local restaurant that's on your high street, and you say to them, listen, we can put some QR codes on your tables, and it can say something like free drink with your first meal, or with your next meal, with your first meal, when you fill out this form. So customer comes in, they take a seat, they see the QR code, they think, oh, I don't mind a free drink or free dessert. They scan it, it takes them to a form. This is where you've built this, by the way, all very easily. You built this thing where they scan the QR code, takes them to a form. It says, hey, to claim your free drink, give us your name, email, are you a student or an office worker or whatever information you want. Obviously, given privacy laws that you're all intact. You build out that form, they submit it, that information then goes into this restaurant CRM. Now that restaurant has that contact. So for the price of a drink, which might be 20p, 30p, or dessert, they've now got this contact. So the cost of that contact is very, very low considering what they can get out of that contact, right? And so now you basically built that whole automation flow where from the scanning of the QR code, that all those contact details get stripped and added into their CRM. And maybe they then enter a flow where it's like, as you know, 1 hour after that person's information has entered the CRM, they get a text saying, hey, I hope you liked, your free drink today. Would love a review on Google if you're happy with us. That then instantly improves the restaurant's Google reviews, right? Which is, all restaurants want better Google reviews or more Google reviews. And so that's the kind of thing that you can offer them. And you can basically charge them for the maintenance of that. So the maintenance of the automation, which is the maintenance of the software and the automation, anything from 500 to 1,000 to 2,000 pounds a month, just the maintenance of the software. And really, you don't actually have to touch anything. As long as the automations are still running, you're pretty much able to have that as free profit. And then you can also charge them a one-off for building the automations, and that can be really whatever you value your price at. You can, there's people who charged in the hundreds of thousands of pounds to build out automations, all the way down to 3K. So it's quite a good model in that sense, and it's no code. So anyway, I went off on a tangent. I didn't plan to do that in that much detail, but you can. We're teaching these slowly but surely on my school. $9 a month, £7, the price of a really expensive cup of coffee per month. Why not? Dive in. I'm going to cross this off now. Okay, let's go back to the discussion. So what did we say? Being content with the qadr of Allah. Like, when did we say that? I can't remember. However, it's not really a good transition now, because it's just a line in this poem that says being content with the pen. I basically was doing this Tartil clip this week. I put out this Tartil TikTok. Shall I show you? Oh, here it is. Okay, I'm going to show you. It'll make sense in a second. Basically, I found this poem. Anyway, I'm going to play you the clip. How can I play it?
فإن الزمان انقضى وانصرم فكن ما حييت ضنينا به فظنك بالوقت عين الكرم.
Was that really loud? Let me know in the comments. Was that really loud? What was the point of me showing you that? That's on 500,000 views on TikTok right now. Yeah. Your boy made a viral clip. Okay, fine. That wasn't the point. The point is that I came across that poem, and I was like, by the way, if that was loud, turn your volume down, because I'm about to play you another video. I want to play you that whole poem because I really liked that poem. I just came across it. I searched for Islamic poems. I found that poem. Oh, this poem is, like, from the meanings, it actually makes you think. Like, it's a really good poem. I'm going to play it to you, okay? Are you guys ready? Who's ready? Clearly no one. I'm talking to myself. But I in anticipation, I got the poem ready. So, one person is ready. Yes. Thank you. I'm not even going to try and read the name. Okay, let's play the poem. I'm going to play it twice. I'm going to play it once. We'll have a natter about it. Then play it again. Ready? Let's go.
يا طالب العلم قم لا تنم فإن الزمان انقضى. يا طالب العلم قم لا تنم فإن الزمان انقضى وانصرم فكن ما حييت ضنينا به فظنك بالوقت عين الكرم. وكن حلس درسك وافرح به تكن قائدا في غد للأمم. وبادر شبابك من قبل أن يقطع عزمك سيف الهرم. ودع ما استطعت فضول اختلاط وأكل ونوم وقول يذم. وصاحب نبيلا ولا تكثرن فكم مكثر يا أخي حرم. وحقق إذا رمت شيئا ولا تسمن بوهمك ذات الورم. رأيت العلوم وأصحابها لدى كل ذي فطرة تحترم، فإن رمت يا صاحبي رفعة بدنيا وأخرى فلذ بالقلم، وأخلص لربك واعمل بما علمت وإن تلقى فيه الألم، وصابر وثابر ولا تكسلا فإن الهموم بقدر الهمم.
Don't lie, that was pretty sick. What a beautiful poem. Yeah, I mean, the message of it was just pretty incredible. I'm trying to pull it up now so I can see it. Yeah, so I think like what I got from it was a lot of like discipline stuff. Like some of these principles. Oh, now you want the link to the poem. Well, you weren't speaking in the chat before. No, I'm joking. I'll give it. Of course, I'll give it. In fact, let me get it right now before I forget. Post in the chat. I think this is how I post it in the chat. Okay, I'm gonna post it in the chat, but it's from my personal YouTube channel. Personal. Can you see that? There we are. There we are. No, it's not coming. Can you see that? No, it's not coming up. All right, let me. No, I was only. No, I was only joking. Okay, no, you can't see the link. Okay, fine. It's like blocking me from sending a link. No worries. I'll log into the Fresh Ghana YouTube channel. And then there we are. All right. Okay. Managing your moderators can support your channel in even more ways. Close. Okay. Paste. Can you see it now? Yeah. Okay. I had to post it from my own. I had to post it from Fresh Ghana channel. So yeah, so I just thought like from like a discipline perspective, it kind of says everything that you know to be true, and like you can kind of counter it and be like, no, like, but if you want to work hard for this, if you want to work hard in this life for the next life, I think it's just so powerful. The first line said, "Oh, seeker of knowledge, rise, don't sleep." Yeah, like sleeping is one of those things that so many scholars have always said, you have to be uncomfortable if you want to be like something that other people are not. Like you want to be weird, you want to be a stranger. Most people are not like Hafad, for example, right? And so if we want to become that, which we do, I do, we can't live a life like what normal people live, right? You have to be different to be different. And a lot of the scholars, like there's so many stories of so many of the scholars not sleeping much. In fact, I heard a lecture this week about how a lot of the scholars would drink their food instead of eat their food, because they would say, if I drink my food, then I can recite another 50 verses of Quran in that time that I've saved. Like, look at the way that you would think, subhanAllah. Then the second line says, for verily time is slipping quickly. So that's that point of like, they just would not waste time. And we shouldn't waste time. And then the next line says, in English, of course, so as long as you live, be stingy with it, i.e. be stingy with your time. It kind of instantly makes you think, anytime, you watch, like, I do love a good crime documentary. I'll hold my hands up. I love a good crime documentary. I don't really watch them that much, but maybe on a plane and stuff like that. Like my recent flight, I downloaded a crime documentary. Um, but you think when you watch things, all that time could have been spent in the worship of Allah, right? Um, so the next line says, as being stingy with time is the epitome of generosity. Wow. Makes a brother want to start clicking, Being stingy with time is the epitome of generosity. Like the way that you can bring in stinginess, which is often seen as such a negative term, and actually turn it around and be like, actually, by being stingy with this one thing, it's the ultimate generosity. Imagine how powerful this poem is in Arabic. Like we're just breaking it down in English. Anyway, next line. Let your comfort be in your learning and seek joy from it, as tomorrow you will be a leader to the nations. And take advantage of your youth before the sword of old age cuts your determination. This is something that also hit me, this line, because something happened the other day. I think I was like sick, right? Like last week, and it made me realize that even if I wanted to work at that point or train or whatever, I couldn't. I just didn't have the willpower. I probably had the physical strength. I probably could have physically got myself up which when you're old, you even lose the physicalness. But this line of like the sword of old age cuts your determination. Like as you get older, you become less determined. I kind of experienced that in a small scale when I was like sick. And avoid as much. And the next line says, and avoid as much as you can meddling into, mixing, overeating, oversleeping, and vile speech. We hear often the overeating and the oversleeping thing. The vile speech one hit me because I'm a big proponent of there's just no need for vile speech. I've kind of always felt, I don't know if I've always felt like that, but I've definitely felt like that more recently, like kind of growing up, is that it's vile speech just never feels appropriate. And if you think about the deen, everything has been covered. Everything is spoken about in the deen. We know how to answer the call of nature, even, and the specific ways to do so. Even though everything has been covered and discussed, nothing has been discussed in a disgusting way. Nothing has been discussed in a vile speech, right? Even like by saying answering the call to nature, things are not mentioned in vile speech, which I think is powerful in itself. Okay, the next line says, and befriend a noble person. I mean, that one speaks for itself. We all know about the importance of befriending noble people, right? And do not pile up. It just says, and do not pile up, but we know what it means. For how many pilers, my dear brother, were deprived? And we know one of the implications of sin is that you get deprived, right? SubhanAllah. Next line. And if you aspire something, go for it. And do not fill your mind with the inconceivable. Now, obviously, we haven't broken down this poem. We're just reading the words and taking from it what we think it means, as opposed to actually like doing i'rab of it. But that's like quite a powerful line there. It says, if you aspire to do something, just go for it. That's powerful to me because I'm quite, as you guys know, indecisive. I'm should I not? What are the pros? What are the cons? So just do it. Do not fill your mind with that inconceivable. I don't know what that means. I don't know if you guys want to add in the comments what you think it means, but for me, that's like, don't just start thinking, oh, what if, and that might not be the right decision, and what if it doesn't work out, and stuff like that. Like, if you aspire, do it. Job done. Bob's your uncle. Next line. I have seen the sciences and its people. Be kind to everyone of natural disposition. So if you truly want status, oh my friend, and by the way, let's call a spade a spade. All of us are in some way, shape, or form after some sort of status. I mean, ideally, that status should be, seeking the pleasure of Allah, right? Like having status amongst the angels, right? But we are all after status, and it says, so if you want status in this world and the next, which is, ideal scenario alert. We would love, who wouldn't love a bit of status in this world and status in the next? Status in both worlds. In Arabic, if you say something twice, you can add like a ain at the end of it. You say like, Masjid Qiblatain, right? Qibla is the Qibla, and it was called Masjid Qiblatain because two Qiblas, right? Qiblatain and or you can say, what's another example? Give me some examples in the comments, guys. Comments are being a bit dry. Anyway, the point is, what was the point? If you want pleasure in this world and the next, no, sorry, not pleasure. If you want status in this world and the next, the joke I was gonna make is I was gonna try and say status ain, but it doesn't really add up. Anyway, if you want status in this world and the next, which is what we all want, read the next line. Then be pleased with the pen. Wow. Should be pleased with the qadr of Allah. Be pleased with what has been decreed for you and the rules that have been set for you. And be sincere to your Lord and act by what you learn. Be sincere to your Lord and act on what you learn. Even if by it, this one's powerful. Even if by it you are pained, even if it hurts, be content with the qadr of Allah, even if it hurts. Next line. And be patient. Be a sabir. Persevere. It's amazing how much in our religion and how much scholars speak about perseverance, how important of a trait that is, especially considering, you don't directly relate when you think, all the traits of a good Muslim. You think a patient person, a forgiving person, a person who works hard. Perseverance in itself is like its own thing, and it doesn't seem like as important of a factor, but it's mentioned so much. Perseverance is so important. It says, and be patient, persevere, and do not be lazy. Next line. That's it. Oh, no. As achievements are based on determination. Achievements are based on determination. Now, after we've just read that line by line, should we listen to it again? What do you say? All right. Be careful. I don't know if it's too loud for your speakers, so just maybe turn your volume down a little bit for a second. Here we go.
أيا طالب العلم قم لا تنم فإن الزمان أيا طالب العلم قم لا تنم فإن الزمان انقضى وانصرم فكن ما حييت ضنينا به فظنك بالوقت عين الكرم وكن حلس درسك وافرح به تكن قائدا في غد للأمم وبادر شبابك من قبل أن يقطع عزمك سيف الهرم ودع ما استطعت فضول اختلاط وأكل ونوم وقول يذم وصاحب نبيلا ولا تكثرن فكم مكثر يا أخي حرم وحقق إذا رمت شيئا ولا تسمن بوهمك ذات الورم رأيت العلوم وأصحابها لدى كل ذي فطرة تحترم، فإن رمت يا صاحبي رفعة بدنيا وأخرى فلذ بالقلم، وأخلص لربك واعمل بما علمت وإن تلقى فيه الألم، وصابر وثابر ولا تكسلا فإن الهموم بقدر الهمم.
Wow. So yeah, that's what's been happening. What did we speak about in this podcast? We spoke about solopreneurship, lessons we can take from the Sahaba. We spoke about the school page. We did speak about that, and this poem that I came across. This week's viral TikTok. I heard a sound. Something stop. It was like a stop recording sound. What was that sound? Anyway, we are gonna end the pod. We're gonna end the pod. It's an hour. I enjoyed it. I had another natter. We'll do it again. Maybe I was thinking that we need to do daily streams. Hey, let me know. I just think it would be tough, timing wise. But let me know, because this is Festival Grind is yours as much as it is mine. Now that's not entirely true. It is mine more. That's just facts. But as a community, it's all equal. So yeah, let's circle back and have a lovely evening. Those of you who are listening, everyone is pretty much listening from the UK. 9, 8, 7, 6. It's 6:30 p.m. Have a lovely rest of your evening. For me, it's 10:30, and your boy's going to sleep. Oh, I haven't had dinner. I've not had any dinner. This is an atrocity. You know why? Because it's Saturday. Is it Saturday? It's Saturday. It's Saturday. And I just kind of thought to myself, as soon as the kids went to bed, Isha happens in the masjid, 7:17 p.m. Dubai. Kids go to bed, 7 p.m. All three of them. The 5-year-old, the 3-year-old, and the 2-month-old. 7 p.m. They're all lights out. They're all lights out and they're nights out. It's lights out and nights out. 7 p.m. they're in bed. 7:17 is Isha in the masjid. Put kids to bed, get to the masjid. So I came back and I thought, ooh, I could do a bit of work. I might jump on an episode of FG. I might do a spontaneous stream. I might edit a clip, which I did. And so then I didn't eat, and now I'm hungry, and it's 10:30. If I eat now, I'm gonna go to bed on a full stomach. Wake up in the morning. Your boy's put on a couple of kg. But I am hungry, so I'm gonna eat. I eat something like, all right, guys, you guys didn't need to hear any of that. Remember, check out my school, man. I will see you very shortly, inshallah, on another live stream, because we're just gonna be live streaming it for now. Of FG. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.